Hey, Brian Manning here. Welcome to Chase Center, San Francisco. Celtics off their 107-88 loss to the Warriors, grappling with the impact Draymond Green had on this game.
Big time, big time.
In more ways than one. Most of the Celtics shaking off Green's impact here, but you could see it from the earliest moments of these games. Celtics go on a nice run to open it. Jaylen Brown getting going, and there was a moment after a missed free throw down here and one by Green, where the Warriors got the ball back, there's an inbounds, and Green just presses his chest into Tatum, keeps pressing into him. They're kind of pushing back and forth there, and Tatum picks up a foul. A few plays later, Green pushes through Grant Williams the same exact way. They go tumbling to the floor, and Grant picks up a foul on that play. Green pushes it a little too far, picks up a technical, tussling for the ball with Grant. So the officials put their foot down there. But then into the third quarter, I believe, was the play where Brown gets a three-point play. Green goes crashing into him on the three-point attempt. They're both on the floor. Green's legs are over Brown's head. Brown shoves the legs away. They both get up. Brown's kind of stand over him, and they're tussling. And normally in that circumstance, it's double technical automatically. If you already have one, you're out of the game if you're Green. I thought almost certainly that was what was going to happen, and it didn't. They went to the review board, no call, just no technical play on.
Lost it.
And Green stays in there and has an enormous impact the rest of the way. Was it fair or not to keep Green in the game?
Listen, yes and no, Bobby. I mean, sure, he should have, but does it change the outcome of the game? I don't think it does. So in the grand scheme of things, you're still going back to Boston with the series tied 1-1. So this fans can, I don't know, would you want to have your moment in seeing him get ejected, which I guess he would have been.
I want to see the game legislated how it should be.
The right way. Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. But at the same time, I'm looking at the end result, and I'm thinking that the Celtics already dug themselves in, or rather, a combination of that and the Golden State Warriors coming out with that stellar defense and just getting in their space. Someone like Al Horford, as soon as he touched the ball, he couldn't put the ball on the floor. He had a hand in his face if he wanted to shoot it. It was just really uncomfortable and rattled, and he talked about that as well. And if you're Draymond Green, that's the first guy you're going to make sure doesn't have a big game because of what happened in Game 1. So look, Draymond did what he was supposed to do. If this play had happened early in the game, maybe you say, well, you take Draymond out the equation, you put yourself in a better chance, or you position yourself to win. But I think the Celtics, the game had pretty much been decided at that point, and the Celtics weren't doing themselves any favors.
Well, you rely on the refs. They're kind of enforcing how the game's going to go, what direction it's going to take on. They're who needs to stay in the way of Green doing what he's doing there, because the Celtics, they can respond, but only by so much before they get themselves into technical situations or ejected or flagrant foul, whatever it is. When he puts his legs on Brown there, it's just standard practice to me. Two guys get in a scuffle, there's a double technical. If you wanted to do what you did on Grant earlier, grabbing the ball from him and picking up your first technical, go ahead. But when there's a scuffle later and there's a double technical, you're going to get ejected. And that's just how the technical works to me. Yeah. If you're going to push that line like Draymond wanted to early in this game, there's going to be a consequence for it. You can try, you can counteract it, you can try to get close to it, but what they effectively did is they moved the line some more, and they allowed him to do some things later, like lay on Al for a little longer after they went to the ground there, or getting that scuffle with Grant Williams. Like, you could have called 4 technicals on Green in this one. They call one, and they just keep letting him push further and further, and I think the game flowed how it did from there.
Well, they reviewed the plays, the last 2-minute report. Maybe we'll get something out of that within the next couple of days, maybe not, but there's a lot of explanation that could be going on, right? Whether it's he tried to balance himself to get up, but the one against Jaylen, I'm with you though. You put your leg over someone's face, you know what you're doing. Like, I don't think
it's not even that. It's just when there's a scuffle, you hand out 2 technicals, right?
Yeah, but I don't know, Bobby. I don't know if that's always true. I mean, historically, yeah, especially when the LeBron years, and I felt like teams were kind of going a little bit over the top in terms of like trying to touch him up and bruise him up when he was really on a roll. So yeah, I remember that being always the end result. Now that there's replay, now that there's other protocols for the NBA to sort of get it right, I don't think they have been so quick to go to the double tech every single time. But was it warranted in that instant? Sure, I agree with that.
Green after the game actually said he does get a little more rope than some players in that spot, and he tries to respond.
Facts.
Here's what he had to say, and here was Jaylen's response to what happened on that play.
When you're kind of going back and forth with him, are you aware that he has 1 technical already? No, not really. I'm just trying to play basketball, and I feel like that was an illegal play. I feel like they could have called it, but they let it go in terms of a technical on either way. But I don't know what I was supposed to do there. Like some guy, they got their legs on the top of your head, and then he tried to pull my pants down. I don't know what that was about, but that's what Draymond Green does. He'll do whatever it takes to win. He'll pull you, he'll grab you, he'll try to muck the game up, because that's what he does for their team. It's not nothing to be surprised about. Not nothing I'm surprised about. He raised his physicality to try to stop us, and we got to raise ours. Looking forward to the challenge.
Because my team needs that sort of energy.
Nah, we need that energy anyway. So for me to sit back and say, "Oh, I'm gonna push it to this edge and try to pull it back," that don't work. I got to be me, and so with the first tech, it is what it is. That's not going to stop me from being aggressive or doing what I do on the basketball court. Just got to live with the results.
So you tried to pull down the pants. I didn't catch that part of
that's
it.
old
I
school.
love the sprinkling of that in there just to make Green look even more ridiculous.
That's old school, man. It reminds me of Ron Artest before he changed his name and what he used to do to Paul Pierce. And you got to fight through it. You got to fight through it. And you know what? For someone like Jaylen, I'm not gonna go out and say this is like newfound territory for him, but I mean he's just not the main. He's not the top head of the snake in terms of like what the Celtics offense is doing. That's Jason Tatum. So maybe this is something that he's got to adjust to. We expect him to have a big series in this one. In Game 1, he gave you a heck of a performance, especially when someone like Jason Tatum, your top guy, couldn't get the scoring down. He did other things as well, like playmaking, and it worked out. To see Jaylen bounce back in Game 3 is going to be interesting because he hasn't. I can't remember the last time this kind of scuffle or this sort of mind game, so to speak, to see him. I don't want to say check out, but I just feel like he was in his own way after that point. And Draymond gets some credit for that, but also you have to give credit to the Warriors' defense overall. But let's see how Jaylen responds in Game 3.
He sounded more ready to than anyone else, and I liked him actually addressing the subject there. I liked him saying that the Celtics have to meet them with physicality and punch back in their own way. And I don't know what that would look like. Certainly, I think Grant getting chased after there by him and getting called bozo, there was probably a spot there to retaliate a little bit in some way. But Al too, getting caught on the ground on that play, didn't really do anything. So there's got to be some kind of response by the Celtics. You hope that the officiating will allow them to have some kind of response, because then I'll get even more irritated by what went on here and what will go on for the rest of the series. Again, you got to draw a line in the sand somewhere. That's why the refs are out there. You have to dictate where this is going to go and what he's going to be allowed to do, because the Celtics have no answer. And Ime Udoka ultimately, after Green hounded Brown on a ball where he knocked it out of bounds, basically said what he felt all night about the officiating, said, I'm going to pick up a technical on purpose, and he did.
Yeah, he said he got his money's worth too. Everyone sort of saw that coming too, and it was one of those like, okay, he's gonna really earn this one, and yeah, good for him. I mean, that's sort of been his MO all year long. Like, let me talk to the officials. Don't get into it with them. And at that point, it was sort of like, hey, he's sticking up for his guys. You love to see it, but also you want to see his guys defend themselves in a way that it's on the court, right? It's productive.
Go after the player, not the ref.
Exactly. So I'm sure that's a conversation that he's going to have with his players. It wouldn't shock me for Ime to say, look, that was the case, in Game 2, but let's make sure that never happens again. I'm willing to stick my neck out for you guys, but make sure I get my reward on the other side, and that would be a strong performance in Game 3.
Yeah, Brown said it himself too. They were kind of looking to get bailed out, standing around at times, waiting for it in this game, and it's not going to happen on the road.
I'm glad he said that. I'm glad he was honest, because we could all see it.
A lot of good stuff from Brown after this one.
Yeah.
Horford, Tatum, they all have to follow, and they'll get a chance to do it in 2 days. Celtics taking home court. Horford said he's pumped to see the Garden fan, the atmosphere for a finals game. I certainly am too. I feel like each round it's been ratcheted up just a little bit here, and it will be tied going into Wednesday. Game 3, 9 o'clock Eastern. We'll be back out there. Maybe a special appearance from John, Nick, and someone else from the Garden Report.
Some surprises, huh?
You never know who's going to be there. We're brought to you by Com. Get us back here for Game 5. Com sponsors, big reason we're able to cover this team on the road, especially through the finals here.
Absolutely.
There will be a Game 5 here next Monday at Chase Center, maybe even a clinching game, depending on how these next two go in Boston.
So, Bobby, damn, trying to bury this team
no,
already?
I'm not counting on it.
Well, one team could, either one, so I guess that works.
This will be a 6-7 game series. We got into some of the minutia in our last video there. Go check that out. Com, by the way, you're getting out of your element. You're getting frantic, out of control down the stretch of a game here. It's like a timeout. Celtics tried with the timeouts here, but you got to at least give it a chance. You know,
get the calm of the day. That's your timeout. That good 12, 15-minute relaxation. It goes a long way.
You'll get that. You'll get sleep help. I know Kerr and Curry were talking about coming in tonight. Them not being able to sleep after game one, they're a tough loss there. So if you're in that spot after game two or any number of losses in this series that could be ahead here, late games on the East Coast certainly will need calm, sleep help, meditation, wellness. It's all there. The calm of the day, as Josue said, you'll get all of that for 40% off at calm.com/garden, 40% off a premium subscription. Celtics All Access, CLNS Media, go subscribe there for continued coverage of the NBA Finals from Josue, Sherrod, and others on the ground here, Cedric Maxwell as well.
Yes.
You can go check out his podcast with Gary Payton that they did impromptu after the game. And we'll be back in a couple days at practice in Boston, clnsmedia.com. Good night, everyone. Celtics lose 107-88.